The Second Chances Project is an ongoing, collaborative, community-focused endeavor at St. Joseph's University, focused on mass incarceration and its impact on Philadelphia communities. Through our courses and programs, we've been working with individuals inside prison serving life sentences, as well as people who've been recently released from life sentences through resentencing. In this poster session, we'll briefly introduce 3 of our projects. One describes a participatory workshop to engage community members in understanding mass incarceration. One focuses on video interviews created by students and family members of those lost to homicide. And one features a collaboration between formerly incarcerated juvenile lifers and students to build a website.
I'm Susan Clampet Lundquist. I'm in the Department of Sociology at St. Joseph's University. And one of the components that I was involved in with the Second Chances Project was bringing a workshop to campus on death by incarceration, also known as life without parole. And this is a workshop that was designed by the Graterford think tank at the state prison at Graterford, one of Pennsylvania's state prisons. It's a group made up of outside people like myself and people who are also serving life sentences. And this workshop is designed to be very participatory with small groups and large group discussions. And when we did it at St. Joe's, this was facilitated by myself and another person, John Pace, who had been released after serving over 30 years of a life sentence for a crime that happened when he was a child. And so this workshop is designed to help people think about concepts like redemption and second chances, and to hear from people who had served these types of sentences themselves, so students and other community members could really become more knowledgeable about this sentencing.
Hey everybody, my name is Mike Lyons. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication and Media Studies. I wanted to talk a little bit about my course, Crime, Justice, and Media. In the course, students study media narratives of crime and justice to better understand how these narratives impact laws and policies. The course also asks the question, how can we disrupt these media narratives? Students work with partners from the community to provide more nuanced narratives of violence and healing. They are part of the video crew that devises questions in collaboration with the narrators. They work with the cameras, the sound, and perform post-production editing tasks. Participation in these interviews and projects requires students to go beyond spectatorship and engage in a process of bearing witness. One project, On Both Sides, includes interviews with men and women who have lost a loved one to violence and a loved one to incarceration for their involvement in a homicide. Unfortunately, this is not that uncommon in Philadelphia. These videos are then provided to organizations like the Coalition to Abolish Death by Incarceration, which is located here in the city, that use them in their advocacy efforts. The following interview is with Lorraine Hall, who lost a brother to homicide and whose son is serving a mandatory life sentence for his involvement in a burglary that resulted in a homicide.
Hello, my name is Lorraine Hall, better known as Miss Dee Dee. I have a son that's been incarcerated over 25 years. He was 18 years old with 3 months when he got incarcerated. He just turned 43 years old, January 9th. And I'm also a sister of a brother who was killed by gun violence. He was 25 years old. I've forgiven that guy a year after he killed my brother. But me feeling anger and hatred, it's not going to bring my brother back. Him spending the rest of his natural life in jail, it's not going to bring my brother back. When I think of my brother, I think of that young man. When I think of my son, I think of that young man. I fight for his freedom as hard and as much as I fight for my sons.
Hi, I'm Aimée Knight, Associate Professor in the Department of Communication and Media Studies. In my Nonprofit Communications course, we work with community partners through the Beautiful Social Research Collaborative. The collaborative is a model for community-engaged writing where students work alongside partners on a community-driven issue. Pre-pandemic, the student team partnered with Life After Life to develop a website. Life After Life is a community of formerly incarcerated men and women who were at one time sentenced to life in prison for involvement in a homicide as children. We employed our equity-based designed research approach with Life After Life to create a website. Students then led a training session with the WordPress platform to support the organization in developing a community for those navigating reentry. Later, we interviewed students about their experience.
Working with Life After Life opened my eyes to not only my own white privilege, but to the systemic racism that plagues our country's prison system. I was inspired by the group members of Life After Life because they used what would be a traumatic experience to fuel their activist work.
When students work alongside partners in the community, they learn skills to harness the power of writing and rhetoric for social change. By centering equity and solidarity, we support local organizations, grassroots activism, and social change initiatives. Students ultimately gain new attitudes and perspectives while working with communities that are committed to making that change.